Welcome to another special episode of Planeta G, Estamos Unidxs, where we talk about the 10 reasons why Latinx people need to vote this upcoming election.
There are 32 million eligible Latinx voters. We have the power to put someone in the White House who actually has a plan to tackle the climate crisis. And more importantly, someone who will actually respond to the pressures and demands from our movements. And you know who has the most power, Crystal?
Who?
Your mommy.
But for real though, Latinas, especially mommies, will stop at nothing to make sure their kids have a bright future ahead. That's why we're talking to Natalie Carey from the VoteLikeAMadre campaign.
And even though we're just plant mommies,
we're still here for it. So as you know, we're counting down the 10 reasons why Latinx people need to vote this election. Today, we're going to cover reasons 4, 3, and 2. And if you haven't seen any of the previous episodes, please go check them out. All the links are below.
Natalie Carey is the senior campaign director for the VoteLikeAMadre campaign. She lives in Florida with her family and is passionate about doing her part to reverse this climate crisis and create a better future for her children. Through the VoteLikeAMadre campaign, Natalie is urging other mothers to pinky promise to get out the vote this November. Welcome, Natalie.
Hello, Nat.
Hey, so happy to be here. Thank you. Thank you so much for using your platform to get this message out.
Where are you from and how you got involved with the VoteLikeAMadre campaign?
So I was born and raised in Yonkers, New York. Not a lot of people know where that is, but it's about 20 minutes from the Bronx. That's where I was, living for the last over 30 years. I moved to Florida about 2 years ago, and this is where I call home. And the way that I got involved with VoteLikeAMadre is pretty simple. By way of background, I am a bioenvironmental technology major. I studied biology in college before switching majors over to communications. And as I progressed in my career, I started taking some time to think through, how can I be more choiceful in my decision making? How can I invest my time in places that matter most to me and my communities, Black and Brown communities? And then being able to link up with the VoteLikeAMadre team was almost like a heaven sent, if you will, because I was able to pair my bio background along with my communications background to bring a campaign like this to life directly within a community that I am a part of. I'm Dominican American, but that I, care deeply about, right? So we work really closely with Latino Victory Project along with an organization group that drives and does this day in and day out within the Latinx community. Right here in Florida, we have Alianza for Progress, Poder Latinx, along with Chispa, Florida Majority. So there's a ton of people who are behind this campaign and pushing it out in order to make an impact in this election to ensure that we elect the candidates that have bold climate plans to safeguard our children's future. Celebrities, right? We've been so fortunate to have names like J-Lo, Eva Longoria, Zoe Saldana, just to name a few that have kind of jumped on board. But what's been most humbling about that experience truly has been the fact that it's a level set, right? Yes, they're big names, they're celebrities, we grew up watching them, but they're mothers too. And so it was really great to see that they care just as much of this issue as we do, right? You guys on the line, what you guys do day in and out, and what I'm doing now.
Why is it so important for Latinas and for climate voters to turn out this election?
It's super important because we're the second largest voting bloc, right? So we know that as a collective, we have the power to make change. And with that, there are really key issues that affect our communities most. There's over 50 million Latinos that live in communities right now that break the rules when it comes to all things climate and policies that are in place. But beyond that, we know that we're most affected, right? We have higher asthma rates in our communities. And we also realize that if you think through future state, my kids are 2 and 5, but as they get older, I want them to live in a stable economy. So it's really important that we as a community understand that it's not just about recycling and doing our part. That's part of our upbringing, but it's really using our voice and our vote in this election to ensure that those people realize those top issues and really protect us moving forward.
And when you mentioned the amount of pollution that is in Latinx communities, fossil fuel companies are responsible for creating this pollution. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, it's fossil fuels, it's oil, it's gas, it's coal companies. These are the big polluters that are historically known for using our backgrounds as dumping grounds. And so our job is to ensure that we're holding them accountable, holding them responsible, and really starting to put our money where it makes sense. So we want to stop them from doing the polluting, absolutely, but we really want to bring policymakers into the office to ensure that they're creating infrastructure and policy in order to ensure a clean future for ourselves as well as our children. Another reason is making sure that the person we bring into office believes in science, right? That is the thing that's going to be behind our decision making, hopefully, in this election. So recognizing that climate change is real and man-made, and we're feeling the effects now, but the decisions that we make now are going to affect generations to come.
It's so important to call out that the climate crisis is happening right here, right now, and we are living it. We're seeing, raging wildfires in California. We're seeing more frequent hurricanes in the Gulf and in Puerto Rico. What can we do? How can we talk to our families, and how can we talk to mothers and make them realize that climate change is real and it is now?
Yeah, I think the best way that we can talk to our communities, especially to our primas, right, our cousins, our family members, our neighbors, is to point out the obvious. Right? We feel the effects, right? Think about our upbringing. I was outside all of the time, even in New York, right? That was like my playground. And now that I'm in Florida, absolutely, you feel the effects a bit differently. But I look at sending my kids outside, sometimes it's just too hot. And that's going to become something more frequent. You're going to feel it more. You're not going to have your kids be able to be outside for longer periods of time. So for those who aren't as invested or as knowledgeable of the climate movement or climate change, the best thing you could do is point out the obvious around them so that they can understand that, yes, it feels hot now and it goes away, but imagine if this becomes something that's more normalized. So if you feel it's 7 out of 10 right now, imagine 10 out of 10. So I think the best way to communicate it to others is to bring it into a conversation that is more understandable. That's number one. And then number two, it's by allowing them to realize that through their vote, through the policies that ends up, passing and ends up in office and basically directing the way that we're able to live our lives in the communities that we're actually able to live and hopefully thrive in, is tied to the vote that you make in this upcoming election on November 3rd. And if you're fortunate enough to vote earlier, please do so. But it's explaining to them that all these things are connected. It's not in the small things that you do in your day-to-day and in your household. It's really on a grander scale in what you can do at the ballot. VoteLikeAMadre, post up your pinkies, but more importantly, please text Madre to 52886. We are a resource to you in both English as well as in Spanish to ensure that regardless of what your plan is, to vote by mail, to vote in person, to vote early, we are here to help you to ensure that we are able to make an impact in this election as a Latinx community, as a collective. And while you all thank me for being here, I want to thank you all because we know that it is a movement. We need all of us to come together to ensure that we are making the decision with our children in mind. So please help us safeguard our children's future and vote like a madre on November 3rd or earlier.
Well, thank you so much again for joining us, Nat, and we'll catch you on the gram with our pinkies up.
Yes, thank you.
Tune in next time to see what the #1 reason is Latinx people need to vote green this election. Did you make a plan to vote yet? Tell us your plan below. And remember, vote by mail is safe and secure, so vote early, make a plan, and vote in whatever way feels safe to you. And if you have any questions, visit www.votefortheclimate.com/GOTV.
There you can find your nearest polling place, how to change your voter registration, how to check your mail-in ballot, and how to sign up to become a Greenpeace volunteer.
So, subscribe to the Greenpeace USA YouTube channel, and don't forget to hit that bell so you can get notified every time we post a new episode of Planeta G. And as always, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Greenpeace USA. Ciao!
Ciao!